guy was. The cops wouldn't chase him in Overtown, but I wasn't a cop. Another rooftop, and I cursed as my shin smashed through a handmade wooden railing, sending me tumbling forward into a clumsy shoulder roll. I pushed myself back to my feet and froze for a moment as I realized that there was someone sitting just a meter away. It was a child, dressed in worn and ragged clothing that had probably been fabricated in sanctuary and given away by some charity. She was maybe 11 or 12, with long, dark hair in dirty, twisted dreadlocks, and she stared at me with eyes wide and white with fear. I wanted to tell her that I wasn't going to hurt her, that she didn't have to be afraid, but I didn't have time, so I did the next best thing and got the hell away from her. My right leg was throbbing, and I was lucky I hadn't broken it, but I limped to the other end of the roof as quickly as I could, trying to spot the guy. There he was, on the next building over, glancing around like he was looking for something, like maybe a way down. I kicked through the railing on that side, feeling the brittle, dry crunch of it through my boot, then backed up far enough to get a running start. The target was looking back at me now, hearing the sound of the breaking wood, and I could see him take off for the next housetop. I threw myself across the gap, nearly 3 meters this time, and barely caught the edge with the toe of my lead boot. I felt myself starting to slip off and lurched forward, desperately trying to get my center of gravity over solid rooftop. The spiked soles of my boot dug into the asphalt shingles someone had laid down over the wood there, and I scraped my gloved fingertips across it until I could feel my knees touch against the rough surface. "Shit!" I hissed, pulling myself up and heading back after him. I stood just in time to see him hit the next roof over, and then bust right through it and disappear from sight. I wanted to curse again, but I didn't like to repeat myself. I ignored the nagging pulses of pain still radiating from my right shin and sprinted into one last jump, trying to land off to the side of where he'd broken through. The wood was rotten on this roof, and it splintered under the soles of my boots when I hit, but I cat-footed off the weak area far enough to get my balance, then carefully made my way back to the hole the other guy had made. I reached under my jacket and pulled my pistol out of its shoulder holster, holding the weapon at low ready as I edged close enough to the opening to look down into it. Old chemical strip lighting, well past its expiration date, lined the floor of the hallway beneath the gap, casting a faint green glow that barely illuminated enough to give the infrared filters in my contact lens something to work with. Insulation, plaster, and chunks of rotten wood from the roof still clustered in a small pile beneath the hole, surrounded by a cloud of dust that had yet to settle, but of the fugitive there was no sign. I kept my arms tight to my side and my hands against my chest, and dropped through the jagged opening, landing with a hollow, echoing thump on the cheap wood floor and falling into a crouch. I pivoted on my forward knee, pushing my pistol out in front of me as I checked both directions in the dust-shrouded hallway. Nothing. Not so much as a footprint. Damn. I couldn't just assume he'd gone to the street. If I charged downstairs, he could be waiting to ambush me. "This is Munroe," I sub-vocalized into my mastoid implant mic. "I've lost the target. Any sign of him on the insect drones?"